Yes, I will give thanks to life, yeah.
Serious thing. We are here again, Ballhead and the Grid Podcast. We give thanks for everyone been tuning in from those times to now. I have to remind you this Sunday, we got a young warrior I never knew radio, Jalil, powerful young reggae artist. Don't want to miss Irie Reasoning. We'll have special guests on I Never Knew Radio this Sunday, WLOI.org from 9 to 11 a.m. Check out brand new video from the one Far Eye. Far Eye, tell them about the video.
Yes, I cure my pain marijuana documentary, you know. I explore the mind and enough get the youths and why them engage in the plan. So that them can check it out, you know.
All right, link for that is in the description. Also, if you get free time, make sure you check us out, ineverknewtv.com. Enough reasonings. Fire, what we're reasoning about today?
Well, today we really are reason about the whole financial situation of how most people approach it, especially when it relates to like a mortgage itself, which is we know say from your progress certain way in a life, enough people are the first type of step that them I think about and how once even maintain them type of financial things then knowing say something we continue for 30 years in additions plus other things along the way, you know?
Yeah, all right. This first of all, I want to say that with the mortgage thing, there's so much misinformation and miseducation that leads to people putting themselves in a situation that they just can't handle. You know, I hope through after listening to this reasoning today, you get a clearer understanding. So everyone knows mortgage, right? French word origin, death contract is not designed for you to be paid. What I've noticed with our modern times is that people are basing the benefits off of the mortgage, off of the benefits that existed in the 50s and 60s. And those benefits are no longer there. Time has changed. The economy has changed. Things have changed. Too many times, I think we try to use hustles that worked 50, 80 years ago. And they don't work now, right? They obsolete, you know? And I'm not here to discourage anyone from getting a mortgage, but there's so many people complaining, killing themselves and stressed out about this mortgage. I think it's good to get a clearer understanding of what you're getting yourself into, or even if you're already in it, to get a better understanding of what you're in, because you have many people who are in a mortgage and don't clearly understand the situation. All right, I'm pretty sure he can attest to this, and he knows when people get their mortgage, right, and they do their down payment, they usually take every single dollar in their name, and they probably borrow money from a family member, or maybe they get a little money from a program. Hence, when they sign that paper and give that down payment, they're broke. You have to furnish a home. Furnishing a home is very expensive unless you want an empty spot. First problem, when they do furnish the home, they furnish it on credit, right? A lot of these interest rates, especially when you get it from department stores, are out of hand. Also, another thing you need to consider with this mortgage thing is miscellaneous things happening to the home that you yourself have to fix. Remember, when you're renting, you're not responsible for it. Well, if you have a good landlord, they take care of it. If you don't have a good landlord, you're sitting there suffering. But you're responsible for things that happen in the house, and they are going to happen, especially if you have children, especially if you're in the house a lot of wear and tear. Another thing too, people need to consider is that, like, man, you're signing a 30-year agreement without a 30-year agreement to employment. And I think that's the trickiest part people aren't understanding. Hopefully you don't have a variable rate where the rate or the price you have to pay monthly fluctuates as years change. You're locked in at a fixed rate. But regardless, you have to think about that. Are you confident that you'll have employment for 30 years, or you'll be able to generate money to cover the cost of your mortgage and your living expenses for 30 years? We have to factor in divorces. Divorces are 50, 40, whatever percent that they are. And a lot of people can't handle a mortgage on their own. And if you do break up, most likely, it'd be a low vibe with the house. These are things you have to consider. You have to consider the person that you're with before you get in a mortgage with a person. It's just a lot of things people aren't thinking through before they get into this mortgage vibe. And it's just like, well, I'm sure it's not even a thing. I know for a fact, like, a lot of health problems people have is just the stress of the mortgage. It's so baked into the society, this house vibe. I don't know if it's a sense of achievement. I don't know, you feel mature, but it's just like, I just think a lot of people they need to cohabitate. They need to do some co-living. to cut down expenses far, or they might just have to rent because their ability to earn doesn't coincide with paying off a mortgage. Now, I know many people will say mortgage is an investment, this and that. We can argue, go back and forth. But when you break down the numbers, depending on the region you're in and the price range that you're in, just paying for it. Because if you get a house now for 300 grand, by the time you pay that mortgage off, you're going to be at 540, depending on your interest rate and all the fees and taxes, or 600. Is the house going to go up $300,000? Even if it did, you're just going to break even. You're just going to be back at zero. There's no profit from it. I know people will argue to say that you have equity in the house if you make it for those 30 years. You know, so these are things I just want people to consider before they jump into this more. Everybody running into this house thing and this mortgage thing, and it's just like, I don't think a lot of people should be getting mortgages. And I want to tell you the next thing that flopped people far eye. You have to be truthful with yourself about this. A lot of people aren't analyzing the industry that they're in. A lot of times the industry that you're in, it may only be running hard for 2-3 years, but they get so hyped and so disillusioned that they think this is going to be a 30-year thing. So they make all these financial commitments based on a hustle, an industry, or a good time that you're having for these 2-3 years, not knowing that that cycle is about to run out. How are you going to generate that money for the next 27 years? And the money you generate for that 27 years may not be what you generated within that 3 years. It's just a more analytical way to look at the thing, because you have to minimize financial stress. And that's what's killing the people right now. I think we spoke about this before for our PO. Some people have too much house. The house too big. The house so big you gotta bring somebody to clean it. Right, that was so big you gotta bring somebody to clean the house. You gotta bring, and that's I'm saying, I know it's a convenience because we're busy, but it's just like, all right, that's another expense along with my brethren does like he brethren Donovan, he does maintenance, landscaping. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a whole industry that people don't have time to just mow their lawn, yeah. Or sometimes the lawn too big. So you have the landscaping, the bigger the house, the bigger the pipes, the longer the electricity wires. So it's just a higher probability of things going wrong, and the maintenance. So if you're in an environment with a certain house and it got a leak, you don't want your roof look patchy or the thing look away. So if you're just making it each month, because when they calculate it, man, that's the thing. When people calculate it, they at death door, yo. They just making it because they always trying to just, I don't know. But where are you going to get the money to pay off these things that occur? And Farah, we mentioned off here, but I didn't bring up life. That's why the credit card thing is so wicked. If I say right now, say a pipe burst, right? So I said, boom, I'm gonna put that on the credit card. And initially I'm gonna say, yeah, it's cool because I'm just gonna pay it off. I'm gonna put something on every month. But what happened when something go wrong with my car? Or what happened when the young one needs something? Or something, now I'm at 5 different things on the credit card. And now I'm in serious problems. When these people come to go fix this thing and say it's $3,500, by the time I pay off $7,000. Because I can't afford to pay it off. I'm just sending the least amount that I can. The next thing I know, my chest hurt. And I know I'm dizzy. All right, next thing I know, my chest hurt. Next thing I know, I'm dizzy. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying, you don't have no financial, you're not gonna stress, but like at least avoid that. That's another thing you can avoid that's unnecessary. And I'm not discouraged. Listen, I'm not discouraging anyone from getting a mortgage. I want to be clear. I'm not anti-mortgage. I'm not fighting nobody down. All I'm saying is you need to be more calculated and be more educated in decisions that you're making. Because all that glitter is not gold, all right.
A fox there talk, cause me a man, me can tell anybody still. Me always encourage people say them need to have them house, right? But the key thing I always tell people, there I say the word still is to be analytical, right? Because most people jump in a financial decisions because you mention it still, because if things represent a status, And you can't jump in a certain decisions where I go really hold you back because it represent a status. Because you have members say your life and your life choices bigger than all the representation of a status. And that are the key thing where I really hold you back. Because when I realize that most time when I talk to people even about the concept of a property or acquiring a property, I realize one thing where one great area where most people normally have is even this thing called closing costs. And as simple as it want to seem like it's a whole basic thing. Say as the price where the down payment we have put on a house is not the same as the closing costs. Are two with separate costs. Even something like that, I realize that most people not even aware when we start telling them about closing costs. They must say, what that? But Mr. McDonald down payment. It's not just that. So even the education part of it are the key part of it, even before you're going to the analytical part of it, to me still. Because I feel like that are the sequence where it have to go in. You have to educate yourself on it first before you even say you want to be analytical and start put plans together when you acquire a property. Because if you have a $20,000 a year, so that a year down payment, and you know overstand say the closing cost might be 20,000 to so 40,000 you need from get go to have things to even get the property in the first place, then that is a problem. Because guess what now? You only have 50% of the what you need to even get the property in the first place. So even things them look minute things there, I'm find out that most people not even really understand. And that's why I always tell people, so I feel like this whole concept of mortgage or something was supposed to be taught in a school and make you even know the concept of what mortgage is, so them understand it once them grow up now and them know how to kind of direct what kind of part them supposed to take. Because otherwise it's just most people them just see some long, even people who own properties still don't really understand even the concept of mortgage at all. Because they know so them have a lawyer who deal with it, and then the lawyer just tell them to sign here, and then them have the person now who grant them the loan, tell them to sign it, so, and them just sign it and knowing said, all right, bam, me have this, and then this is the particular premium where me go pay a month time. But most people now over is nothing beyond that. So even just the education part of it, I want to feel like so one need to stress. Because me firmly believe say one's need to reach a levels where, all right, mortgage is just a stepping stone, you know. Mortgage is not the final destination, right? Because me living from a perspective where you pay a high rent in a certain areas, and plus with this rent hike where I take place, I feel like so that in itself now is a whole downward spiral thing, you know, where the rent them now kind of similar to mortgages. So that in itself alone, me feel enough is enough of a motivation for a man. So, you know, some would rather go get a mortgage and own a place, even though I know say there's other things that come with it as well. There is a maintenance and all of this thing that kind of make it more upon a financial level. But the fact that it's so close, and then me I pump all of these funds. That's how the analytical part come in now, you know, after the education, you know. But the fact that it's so close, well, me made it from an analytical perspective. Me I say, wait, but if it's so close, I may pay the money at all. I'm still a fight and a struggle for pay this money, you know, which is the rent money, you know. But nonetheless, the mortgage cost, I'm still a struggle and a fight for pay it too. But yet still, as we say, equity are building our house and them thing there. So me now see that me more and more lean on the side there, where I rather pay the mortgage and knowing say me have an equity a bill, and me even a struggle for do it rather than for struggle for pay rent. So the analytical, I think everybody's situation kind of different too. And that is that which part it kind of come down to, because they mention a key point where we never want to forget to. Some people have too much house, and it's not for say, I don't really want nobody misinterpret that as being, you tell a man say you can't live in the size house so him for living in. But it's just where you have to know where you can balance, because if that house where you are going to live in or where you are aiming towards, knowing that this is what you earn, that house that costs 500,000 as opposed to, and just you alone live, or you and one you live, and then would not have 6 bedroom, as opposed to you live in a house, you know, say you have a 3 bedroom, and then the mortgage can be a 300,000. It can be 300,000 overall, and you pay this amount where so much more manageable. Why you gotta take on something where so higher, and then it will lead to more stress. So things like them type of variation, that when it kind of gone out of proportion. You see me I say, but I feel like it, generally speaking, it have to start from the education basis first. And then from the education, you move on to the whole analytical side, that where you know, say, oh, this are really 30 years, you know, I'm really sitting 30 years. Is that a big span of a lifetime that in a 30 years, you know? So me can't just joke out like say, okay, me go 10 years, at least more good for 10 years and well, what got me the next 20 years? So you have to sit down and think about it so deep. It's not that it's supposed to put a fear factor in here still, because that's one thing when I kind of tell people say, you know, I have everything figured out. And it's not like I want to say life of a perfect in order for you have a mortgage and manage it. Your life not for perfect, but you have to always a plan ahead and understand say, especially if you have responsibilities, which is when we say the main responsibility of most adults is a child, you have to understand say them responsibility, me need to think ahead, because me no want 30 years is a whole lifetime. 30 years my child when they moving out the house away. Where 30 years from now, that is a big adult where I got have whole heap of youth to or whatever. So me have to think about it from the basis that me no want to transfer a burden to them. So you have to make sure say the analytical part is very tight and you really sit down and meditate it, you know?
And I want to go back on what you said in regards to the rent and mortgage. That argument there is more region and your economics. So a person on the East Coast is a higher house value, higher taxes. If you have kids, education system, because you don't want to be in an arena where you're paying a high mortgage, high taxes, but the school's not good. You have some areas where the homes aren't that expensive and the taxes are lower, but they have a good education system. You know, because the education system is bad, and you may have to send them to a private school. That's an added expense. But the mortgage vibe for some people, if they can pay it out, it's like a forced savings in a sense. Yeah, you get screwed over. You're not, you know, it is, you're paying to live there, but the equity is there. You are paying more than the value of the home. It is what it is. That's what I want to be clear also, too. I don't think people clearly understand that. I think they feel like they're paying, the house is 100 grand. They're paying, no, you're not paying 100 grand. You know what I'm saying? Like the interest, they're not playing around. That's how they make money, bro. They're not playing around with you. So if you just got 100 grand, you know, you may, depending on your situation and your credit and your payment situation, you may be at 180, 250, who knows, 270. And you stuck with an asset that's 100 grand. That's why we mean in regards, it's not this great asset like people present other people in different situations where they can knock it out ASAP and put down double payments and pay it off quick, or they have a large down payment, or they could buy it cash. But too many times we use this rare situation as your situation. Oh, my cousin did this and that. Cousin's in a unique situation. They may be highly disciplined. They may not have kids. They may have came into a lot of money. They may have a skill set that generates a lot of money. And we need to talk about what we're doing. Too many times we're taking these rare stories and thinking that it applies to the general public, and that's not the case. We need to focus on what we are doing or what we have the capability of doing. Another thing I want to mention with this house thing, when we're analyzing, we just focus on price and we focus on costs and the dollars. We don't focus on costs in regards to health, mental health, spiritual health, and family. What type of occupation would you have to do to pay off this mortgage? How much will it take out of you? And how much time will you have for yourself and others? I don't think that's a question people ask themselves to say, all right, then, you know. And I guess in our society, it'll be seen as less ambitious, right? Because like, yeah, I'm going to push myself. So what, you going to go push yourself for 30 years, right? You're going to be in the grave. You're not going to make it, yeah. You're not going to be working 15 hours a day for 30 years trying to maintain this lifestyle. That's just the house part, right? We're not getting into the cars, you know, because, you know, it's a whole package when people go get into the thing now. They got the car and they got they got the house and 2 car and the vacation and the clothes and all these things. These are a lot of expenses. Where is this money going to come from? Because in my experience, I don't know much. And I say that all the time on the podcast, right? I don't know much, but I know that people who live this high profile lifestyle, they may be able to afford it, but it's for a very short period of time. But maybe 8 months or maybe 2 years. And after that, they just strictly faking it, and their finances are destroyed. The next man may not know. They may see it. They may not see it, but it's very rare. We see it all. How do you have an athlete that's made $100 million be broke? The artist that made 50 million. The other person, because it's just so hard to maintain all these expenses. You need so much money to come in consistently to maintain this lifestyle. As I said, it can be done for short periods of time, but it can't be done for a 10-year, 20-year, 30 period of time. Not even the 1% could do it. We gotta get into the some rare human being out, some Sultan or some Elon Musk or something. Because remember, industries change, economy change. It's very rare. The man, all right, say a man had all the CD empire in the 90s, right? CD stores everywhere on earth. Right, that's not going to last out. That lasts for the duration till technology changes. How many times has technology changed already in the last 10 years? How many industries have been destroyed within the last 10 years as technology changes? And it's changing faster now. Things that even had no lifespan, they're getting far right. So you can't, we got to be just, it's just having a realistic approach. Some person to say, oh, it's what they say, it's a negative approach. It's not negative. It's not negative. It was being realistic.
You know, when we that kind of put it at, when me even listen to the, you know, when I even get that is the keyword have to come into play is ambition too, you know. Cause you see, you have a thing, you have to be realistic while having an ambition. And then if you would want, some would want to sum it up as many people that call it different things, but I think the average person would have classified it as even faith too. But why am I say that? It's not just blind faith, you know. Like for instance, but I know say everybody needs still like me would still when I know say my ambition so extreme. And you mentioned skill set will play a role within the ambition itself too, because you can be very ambitious but you not have skill set for match it, which is a total
realistic ambition far right.
Realistic ambition. Thank you very much.
You coined it. I ain't gonna take your credit. It's your turn. Realistic ambition.
Thank you very much. So you see there, all right. So all right, me I overstand me I said then. So that all right off the top. You have to have the realistic ambition there. Because I know enough people have the ambition and the drive, you know. But their ambition and the drive, as we said many times before, is just not enough. It can play a majority role then, but it can't be the complete fullness. Because I remember if you have ambition and you see certain things now go your way, you know, we need to practice even for talk finance more amongst ourselves too. I understand say almost everything we do while living in the system have some form of financial tide, whether we want to believe it or not. Because some people are going to say, oh, well, money is not all. You know, say, I just money. I just one of them things that we figure it out. And no, it don't really work like that because we can't. So we're going to just figure it out and we don't really put the plan or strategy together. And I must say, not all the time you're gonna have the plan together either. And nobody can make it look like that neither. Because sometimes even when you're going to this whole mortgage thing too, you know, enough time I tell all yourself, so you know, say, I really want a house. And I know say I'll get a house and this is where my finance look like and it will cut me short for this amount of time. Because it will put you back, you know. Or something where going to put you back, but if you tell yourself, all right, is it going to put you back for a lifetime or is it going to put you back for a minimal amount of time or a particular time where you know say yo you have the frame the time frame the way you get set back and then after that now you can boots back again knowing that that payment will probably be 40% of your earnings and then you have the other 60 now where you can add towards and keep moving. So it's a whole strategic thing where after that and you have to have the realistic ambition included in it, you know?
All right, hold your argument. 2 sec, right? And cut back in. I just wanted to say that too. I think I slightly mentioned it. I want to touch on it again. All right. You spoke about realistic ambition, right? That's the realistic ambition. And it's not to say that hey, my skill level is here and you know, I plan on my skill level being here. But you have to be truthful with yourself and actually work on it. It's just too much talking, far right? That's the thing. It's just too much talking and ideas. And that's the thing we want to get people away from. Now, if you're actually working towards it, then yes, you can kind of push yourself and put yourself in certain positions. But a lot of people, that's not the case. They're stagnant. Another thing I want to bring up, I touched on it briefly. I want to touch on it again. You were speaking about, things putting you back in sacrifice. I may have said it earlier. I just want to say it again. You can't have everything. Yeah, you got to pick and choose. So if you want the mortgage or if you want the big house, you may not be able to go on the crazy vacation 3 times a year or have all these things. And I think that's what people are not understanding. All right. They just want every single thing. And it's just like me personally, I spend the most money on food. Yeah. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I just try to get the highest quality food, my roots, my herbs. I don't have no issue spending a bunch of money on food, but I don't buy clothes. If you see me on the road and it's not one little plain shirt like this, it's one I never knew. I mean, it's one old conscious t-shirt.
Come on,
And
cooler man, we can testify now. What a cooler man.
no, serious thing. I got two little shirts to wear, like if I go out my way, but like that's just what I don't spend money on clothes. And if I do, far I know, I'm at straight clearance, yo. Straight clearance, take my time, yeah. I'm not a man that spend no money. And I look good and clean when I go out, but it's just, hey, I'm not spending no money on clothes. You get what I'm saying? I got an economy car, it's good on mileage. And I like to do other things. I like to do things with my family. So I spend money on that. But I'm not out here spending money. I personally know I can't afford to spend money on everything. I can't afford to live the way I live and buy all these clothes and have one big car, have all this. It's just not possible. I can try, and maybe I'll be able to do it for a duration of time, but how long, what's the sustainability of me doing that? How long would I be able to do it? And what would be the impact on my health to do it? I would have to work all the time to do it, to actually pay for it, unless I would just go in debt. And that's the next problem now, because now my credit, it's all this stuff on my credit card. And when I actually need the credit card to do something and make some bread, I don't have no credit. So I'd rather keep the credit clean. If something come up, boom, I can use that, try to flip some money instead of having all these things on there. But the gist of the thing is, man, just understand you're not a loser. You're not a bad person. You're not corny. You can't have all these things. I think you need to sit quietly and just pick out what you really love and what you really want and just indulge on those things. But everything else, you have to tone it down. If you're a person that you just have to have the dopest clothes, you may not be able to afford a nice car then, or you may not be in a big house. Because this debt and death, the word play is too similar. I'm not no linguist, you get what I'm saying? But like that debt be putting people right in the bed, yeah.
I know.
Hold on for Adam Bridger. Tell me how you had a little situation. But I don't like financial pressure, yeah. That's one of the reasons I live my life the way I do. Yeah, I personally know I don't want, you get what I'm saying? So that's just me. But I had a breakdown I was reading with the other day, and he was in a little situation a couple years ago. He's telling me I couldn't sleep, yeah. And all the and we're not dealing with just pressure from life, all right. Just life alone and family and everything else. We talking about that stress, like man, like people calling you, things getting turned off, people repossessing your car. I remember growing up, the hustle was they used to park their car somewhere else. Everybody had Mercedes and Lexus, so they never parked their car at their house. They parked their car at one friend house or one aunt house, so they couldn't really. They would have to like follow you to pick up the car. Cause when they repo your car, they come like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. But they come to the address the car is registered in. They really won't come to your job because they don't do it that day because they don't want the confrontation. But the hustle was to go park somewhere else. Sickness fire. You doing all this to just try to be in some status quo. You can't park your car in your driveway or in front of your house. You gotta go take a taxi, bus, or something else, or get a ride to go park your car somewhere else for presentation purposes. And you working every day, you ain't got no dollar in your name. You don't got a dollar in the name because whatever's going on inside. If you're a clothes person, have your portion of your check to deal with your clothes, but remember, you can't have everything. If you need to go out, you're a person want to be seen and party and pop bottles, allocate money for that. But just know you're not going to have money for every single thing. And it's just a nasty cycle. And they know it at the credit card company, fire. They know it. Because listen to this. Once your credit card is under control, you paying it off every month. See how much money they offer you. Yeah. If your credit limit $5,000, you're gonna get an email saying it's $10,000. If it's $10,000, you're gonna get a letter or email saying it's $20,000. But here go the flip side. When you got $5,000 on that $5,000 card, you can't get no access to no credit now. That's the cool part about it. If you put $5,000 on the credit card right now, you pay a minimum payment. Because they put legally before they didn't, but they passed the law saying they got to put it there. So it's in fine print. It's even on your thing online. They have to tell you how much it would be if you make the minimum payment. So if you got $5,000 on there, I guarantee you it got to be about $12,000 if you make a minimum payment. So if you buy a pair of jeans for $70 on sale If you make a minimum payment on those, it may cost you about 130, 160, 170. And who's the fool? Talking about you got it on sale. No, people ain't preying. They're not preying. Other people not playing around with us, Sean. We playing, but they not playing.
Remember, I talk about mortgage, for you see, majority, I think most people who encounter the whole market situation and are really focus know this. The company them where we normally get in the mortgage with, when the mortgage already, when the loan already sold like even 12 hours, probably in the 12 hours,
now
in the time span.
They have to keep it for 2 months. They need two months. They need 2 months.
No, but them agree. Agree.
I got you. Yeah.
Them agree already, So even though it happened, like, like most times when they see the actual payment transfer, the agreement is already there already. All right, even within 12 hours of the loan. Because I see it recently, I may have to say, yo, the man are thing different, So when the man talk about debt, a DEBT and DEATH, I want to tell you, say, something we're so close. And it's the exact same thing regardless of how they want to spell it. So more I should want to say that's the reason why we have to make sure so we're very strategic in everything we do, because this debt thing is not a normal thing, and the whole concept of not having it all, I when I think most people don't really understand. I tell you that as simple as it want to be as it might be a simple conversation, but it's something where most people, most adults, where me see, they don't really understand, because it's overdoing things and want to be seen and want to keep up is where I really be the downfall of most people for you, because last time I try to show them say enough time and we really lead to our own detriment, I will not understand, because we blame so much other different factors, but we not blame ourselves. I will really ourselves blame for certain things, because we never did know say when they adjusted put on 60 grand to deal with a house and then have to put all 20 grand, I'll forget deal with furniture thing. I will know say that is not normal, that is what our life savings. Whenever they know say things have to change and the trip they can't go book again. Whenever they know say we can't go get the clothes they know because we did already take out every single thing we did have saved for 10 years. The last 10 years we have saved for this. And we done use up all of this to get this particular asset, Cause I remember I was saying that the whole financial system and capitalism, acquiring an asset is a good thing. Financial asset, whatever asset you want to be a house is considered an asset. So we acquire asset and we never know, so we can't go the party the way I keep and spend 100,000 for the night and make them put it on your tab. So at them little small thing there, we have to understand. And then the next part of the whole thing too is that enough people, because in America, the reason why marriage becomes so important in American culture is because of the whole hosting and maintaining and keeping up, So you see, the fact that marriage is so keen for financial reasons. The fact that most people can't talk about finances even with them partner too is a whole type of disruptive force. But only we're gonna need to get over, because I them think that even put it further down the drain. And we have to understand that this communication piece. Me tell you, fire talking about money is supposed to be a normal something, Me not tell a man say I have to go tell everybody say, oh, me have 100,000 on my bank book, or me have 120, or me only have 1,000, But talking about money is supposed to be something. I'm not talking about money, about spending, Because that's the big misconception when we talk about money. Most people think, we are talking, so we're going to spend this. I know we're going up on the cruise there, and we're going to floss, and you only live once. No, but talking about money is supposed to be so normal, our culture. We feel like talking about money towards a progressive angle is something where everybody shy away from, because it's all about me maintaining this status thing, me getting this particular house, so I'm in a status now, I'm a homeowner, and them is not a homeowner, so me in a different bracket from them now. While you could have simply have more debt, have more problems, have more things to take care of now, where it have more stress, and them could have never just a fine too. So it's just a whole concept where I try to show people so them need to overstand fire. And this whole, if you want to own a house too, you need, I use a person who don't know nothing about budget, it not go work. I can tell you that straight. If you don't know nothing about budget and you want to have a house, you're wrong bang. Unless you're a millionaire. With a millionaire, that's fine because mortgage in your world. You can't just go buy a house cash. But if you don't know what the simple concept of a budget is, it'll go bite you. Because I remember say food have to buy in a house too. As there is a maintenance of the you have to look at miscellaneous item. You have so much different things. Because sometimes you will buy a lot of house too, and it's not like say the previous homeowner did even do nothing to the house. It's just that the roof just not in a good condition now because something happened from you go own it and guess what now? A $30,000 cost and it don't bother feel like nobody a target you. Oh, why am I so unlucky? No, it's not no unlucky for you. Just life just happen. Life just happen the way there. Your roof will just mash up as you get $20,000. Your roof will mash up and guess what? Your roof costs $21,000. Now you do $1,000 in a deficit and nobody not target you. That's just the realities of life. So you have to know how to budget. You have to know how to take certain sacrifices. And you have to know how to be patient too. And then on top of that, when you plan for, when you acquire these type of things we consider as asset, you have to know how to maintain it and have a plan of maintaining it. And if it not work out, that's fine. And then that means you're at fault, you know. That's another key thing to, you know. It's not like if it don't work out, I want to see you couldn't manage it, but you take it up. No. But it's just that you need to ensure, say, you have a plan towards this thing as an adult and know how to maneuver this thing and keep it going because 30 years is a hell of a long time.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, right, to wrap things up is that what I noticed with the money is like it's so taboo because this money approach is competitive when people have this money vibe and not understanding that everyone's in a unique position. I'll give you an example, right? And I say this with employment. People take offense to this if they want to, it's on them. A single person with no kids is not necessarily in competition with the person that's married with kids. The single person with no kids can work 24/7. While they work till they drop dead, they have no responsibility. Only days they're gonna miss is when they're sick. The person with the kid, depending on the help that they have to miss days when the kid is sick. And there's a higher probability they're gonna get sick because when the kid gets sick, they get sick. They have more expenses. Yeah, they can try and stay there and compete with them if they want, but it's gonna be a personal issue and a lot of issue with their family. So therefore, those two people can't be in competition. They may put them in competition, but in reality, there's no competition because it's two different situations. Person graduates to college with no debt for whatever reason, whether they got a scholarship or their parents help, versus a person with debt. They're in no competition, bro, because the person with no debt, if they choose to, can save right away. Versus the person with debt, they may try to save, but they go knock down the student loan before they could get the ball rolling. And I think that if we move this financial thing from a competition and understand that everyone's in a different situation, Farai may be making more money than me. I may be making more money than Farai. But we can still build. And you made a great point. We're not talking about, oh, I made 30 grand a day. I made 20 grand. No, it's just the reasoning about concepts. How can we develop financially? Mistakes we have made financially. What can we do better? How do we navigate these things? Bounce ideas. That should be the conversation. Yeah, I know it's a consumption vibe in regards to he bought this shoe and I bought that shoe. That's not how we reason. But we need to move away from that and move to a more progressive conversation. But stop seeing this financial thing as a competition and being intimidated by people. And you have to move away from this hope and this faith thing with your finances. You have to have, it's not just going to work out. It's not going to work itself out. So you can't tell nobody about, oh, it's just going to, no, it's not going to work out. It hasn't been working out. It won't work out. Stop being scared of money. I don't know who I was talking to, but I was telling them, man, some people have this concept that they have to spend the money. And you know who you are, Farai. They know who they are, yeah. When they leave the house, if they got $100, they got to come back with $0, or they feel like the job has not been accomplished.
I really to spend that. I really talk.
And that's what I grew up around because I remember because everybody has the same story. You go to the mall or you go to the shopping place. Like when you last down to your $2, that's when the hunger kick in and you're in problems. You gotta catch the bus back. You got you bought whatever item you got. You ain't get nothing to eat. And like we're not thinking, but we grew up around that. And it's time to grow out of that. And that's why the next generation is so foolish, is because we taught them, they saw us doing stuff. They know the fact that lights got cut off, we got on new sneakers. So you don't have to say nothing. They just know that yo, that's more important than everything. Listen, man, I don't rate no man that have a family and the rent and the living situation not knocked down, and they working, compared to spending money on other stuff. Because a lot of dudes out here be spending money on all type of stuff before they take care of just having a stable environment for their family. I'm not talking about those who don't earn enough. I'm not talking about those who ran into so many different problems back to back because life does happen and put you in a bind. I'm talking about those who make enough and based on the decisions that they have made, how they spend their money and put their people in problems, Or they giving their money to another girl, all type of craziness and all that, and they people not settle, their kids don't have no steady place to stay. Decisions, man, are mine, bro. And this message not for everybody. You get what I'm saying? But if you want to improve yourself, man, you gotta be strategic with your finances. Just break it down and write it down. I know I keep saying I'm gonna do a little financial literacy. I'm gonna do it on one Sunday still, when I get time. But you gotta write down, just like you were write down what you eat, you just gotta write down what you spend. And the bugged out thing, you'd be shocked to find out how much money you spend on little stuff. Like stuff you not even think about that add up.
Yeah, I don't know. But you see, no, see, most people don't overstand still enough. Like them say budgeting as just this little, it's like a thing where you just do it just because. That's something we control your life. You see, money teach me all life in life. I have times when we make money. I have times when we don't. So you see the fact so you can face the two of them. And I realize say it's not everybody in a unique position for know what two of them they feel like, for make money and we feel like for not have no money at all. So it's a unique situation. It kind of show you a balance in a life and make you know where you want to be. But this thing over there is about write down is not something for overlook. Because if I even all the way up on our phone all the while then, say you don't have no book or nothing, because them you write down, because I know enough people think, you write down a man not even a meds for go grab no book and them thing there. But you see that phone there, you have the note section in your phone, that's that pivotal thing, where you just jot down every single thing where you do on a recurring basis. So you see when you think about where you do on a recurring basis, and then you know, say, right, this coming in add now, them type of thing that will come in once a while, you have this amount of cap, this is a limit where you can spend on. You see when you do them things, your life change. Enough times some man not even over that, your life change big time, as simple as that. It wanna look like it's small, but I swear fire, I'm so passionate about it, it's not even a joke. It's so big. That budgeting is so big fire. We're so keen upon that budgeting because you can't achieve nothing in a life if you're not budget. Me I tell you that. Everything I got just wild and willy-nilly and you just got to do things and then I feel like the result then where I come in, you're not satisfied. Yeah, I go wonder why you're not satisfied. Guess why you're not satisfied? You never have a plan. You never have no structure. Just imagine a house without a foundation. Or it go stand up. You have to have a foundation, and budgeting is the foundation of your finances. I tell them that anything where you want to acquire, have to have a budget, and then the budget, here with budget now, budget come with time too, because you see the amount there where you see realize that this is a surplus I have. If you have a surplus there, so then you will know realistically, because if you have pay rent, I rent $100 in a fire, and then you are make $5,000. Guess what now? What now? You see the $4,900 where you have now. When you times that now and realize, this is what I constantly have, You are going to know, so you are 5 years to take me for just go and pay rent, And if after the 5 year, me I go in a good enough spot where me can go acquire a house, It's not like I just jump up and say, more acquire a house now. Because everything take patience, everything take time. You have to have a process of everything. And that's why enough people in a trouble too. That's why enough people in a trouble. Them not really follow a process for it. It's just a little random wild goose chase thing. And how I want to do this just because. And when you do it, then what me know? And me not tell them say, everybody not have that unique skill set. And not because you not have a unique skill set means say you can't acquire where somebody else acquire. Because everybody have them goals, everybody have them aspiration. If that is your aspiration, you don't really have a unique skill set. We don't say realistic ambition already. So where within that realistic ambition do you see yourself striving to maintain this thing for even a 30 year or even less than that if you feel like you can double up on a payment here and there. So you in a yourself have amidst all of these things, and if you calculate all of these things, sadly, it's sad to say it, but there's a higher probability of you failing at these particular things if you not follow that particular process. You can do it in a year way and have your little flavor to it, but you need to have that process and know how to budget and stick to them type of things. Because if you don't have the discipline enough to stick to it, you will realize you have $4,000 and guess what, now you're going to spend all 6,000 because you feel like so. Oh, and one time not going to hurt you. That one time will hurt you. And that enough people don't understand. You say the one thing you fall off of your budget, it will hurt if you all 3-4 months down the line too, and you have to pay back for the time though when you fall off of that. So discipline is key in this whole thing too. And we're not gonna try go overlook the whole discipline for you. Finance are one big something, I'm not telling guys that I'm not meds money, I just not meds money to the point where it control my life. But I have a meds money for it because I'm living in the matrix and I understand that there's things that I have to keep up with in the matrix. So I want to make sure that me at least I head of the whole rat race, so I have to be a part of, Because them things that I tell enough people about.
No, and that discipline is a key thing. And it's a universal concept, whether it's dealing with your eating, certain habits you have with your financing. And the key quote from undisciplined people is that it's okay. Everything's okay, and everything don't matter, and everything is just a continuous thing, and it's just, I don't know. But all I can say is, listen, anyone listening, the first thing I just recommend before you do anything, just write out your finances. Like, do it for 2 weeks or a week. Like, literally, you have your phone all the time. You're always on your phone. Just type down everything you buy. I guarantee you 100, 1,000%, you'll be shocked because you don't clearly understand how much things you buy. Then you'll see like, man, half these, not half, but there's a good majority of them you can do without, or you can get a cheaper version of, or you can spread it out where you're not getting it so consistently. You end up getting every other week or once a month or every other month. Then now, after that, you have to figure out how to earn more money. Because a lot of people just don't earn enough in the environment that they're in. Yes, you have those who earn enough, but just are irresponsible or uneducated or undisciplined. But a lot of people have to just be truthful with themselves to say the skill set that they have does not earn a lot of money. So it's either you just stay there. If you have kids and all that, you just commit it to your kids and develop them that it could build up and earn more, or you yourself have to earn more money and shift your time away from the entertainment. It take about 6 months to earn. I'm not saying to master a skill, but it take you about 6 months, maybe a year to be versed enough in a skill to start earning money. If you do it consistently, you have to do it like consistently. I know that consistency is a weird concept and a foreign concept for a lot of people, but if you want to remove yourself from these financial strains and that lack thereof, you need to generate more money. You need a skill, and you have to be committed to that. You have to be serious about it. And if you don't do it, don't feel no way. It is what it is. You may have to like easy off people for a little bit and kind of just do your thing and focus on learning that craft. And there's no excuse in these modern times. You got a thing called YouTube. Yeah. YouTube.
College.
I'm telling you. All right, I was watching a business course at Harvard with my next guy, this brilliant business dude. And they recorded the class, bro. They recorded the lecture and it's on YouTube for free. It was very informative too. I learned a lot. But I made the effort. I spent the time. I watched it, took my little notes and took it in, and I learned something. Because I was interested in a particular thing, and I just, was Googling and I saw it, and I just made the effort. Because I want it. You know what I'm saying? And I really wanted it. Because I wanted, I did that. I didn't have to say anything to anyone. I didn't have to make a post. I didn't have to say anything. I wanted it, so I did it, and I benefited from it. Too much talking, too much posting, all right? Too much talking, too much talking. Just get to work and do your thing. So we give thanks for everyone tuning in. And as I said, no discouragement for anyone trying to get a mortgage. We just want you to think more and prepare yourself better so you can execute better when you take on that loan and understand it better and just educate yourself better so you make better decisions and make better preparation and understand how to deal with the thing. When you go to apply for that mortgage, just know you need money to furnish your home. And also you need money for other miscellaneous things that go wrong in life. So you may not be able to spend every single dollar you have in your savings on a down payment, meaning you may have to get a lower price house at the moment. If things get better and you generate more money, you can move to a bigger house. That's just a decision you have to make. Don't worry about your friends. Don't worry about impressing people. Don't worry about the barbecue. Don't worry about the pictures. Don't worry about the competition. Don't worry about the posting the pictures. You have to make decisions that's best for you and things you can afford. If you can't afford it, it's not a bad person. You just can't afford it at the time. It has nothing to do with it. There's no strike against you as a human being. I think people try to internalize though because they can't. You just can't afford it at this time. It's not an absolute thing. You just can't afford it at this time. And it's for you to work to put yourself in a position where you can afford it in the future. Not put it on your credit card, but afford it. You know? So we give thanks for everyone listening. Fire I have the documentary there. Link is in the description. Make sure you check it out. Also, special guest, I Never Knew Radio, Jalil, Tough Singer. So make sure you check out that reasoning there. And a lot of good new reasonings here on on I Never TV.com. So make sure you tune in and check the vibes, all right?